Charles Davis. How are you, Charles?
I'm doing great, Rich. Thanks for calling me for the celebration. I was just
think?
mentioning this to someone earlier today.
Yeah.
I think the Eagles rookies reported today, okay, among other teams, et cetera.
And the veterans, too.
And the veterans, right? So the excitement level, all right, when do these teams report? Remember when we were kids and we could not wait to hear the words pitchers and catchers report?
Yes, sir. Mm-hmm.
And that has been superseded by when do these NFL teams go to camp?
Rookies and quarterbacks report.
Yep, rookies and quarterbacks report. Remember when we were kids, that used to be what they call that the off-season training. Quarterback school was what the off-season training with the OTAs and mini camps are now. It's called quarterback school.
Right.
So, it's just a
QB
whole
school.
Different deal from where we were.
I forgot about
where
QB.
we are now. Remember QB school?
I forgot about that. I forgot about that. Now everybody's got a TV segment called Quarterback School, right? I mean, it's
yes, they do.
It's unbelievable.
So I just thought about that, and I heard you teasing the pop culture segment, and I'm on pins and needles on that one.
Yeah,
so
well,
I can't wait for the
TV audience. Segment. Yeah, I did TV audience. I just dropped that there's some huge pop culture news that just popped, and Brockman says to hold it for the news segment, which is in the middle of the show. Correct?
Yeah, about an hour from now, 60 minutes.
All right, so we're going
to.
Don't
Charles,
worry,
you gotta wait.
I'll be there.
Thanks, and I'm going to end up having to take a 60-second break in the middle of this conversation, but I do want to start out with the first thing.
Yeah.
To me, the number one story coming out of the draft was something that you were in the midst of on day 3 of the draft, where you and Daniel Jeremiah were sitting in between me and Mike Mayock, and thankfully there was a wall of you and Daniel Jeremiah because I think Mike wanted to. He was coming at me, and I think you recall what I'm talking about right now. It's Lamar Jackson and how in the world they're going to get him on the field every snap when he wants to be called only a quarterback and be only a quarterback. And if he lines up in the slot, and they give him the ball, that's obviously all well and good. But if he lines up in the slot and he's going to be their future quarterback, don't you know that he's not going to be running a route? My question for you is, how do you see things playing out so far? They were the first team to report in Baltimore. Read me some tea leaves on this front, Charles.
Well, the tea leaves that I'm reading are they're going to work their best to, number one, have him be a quarterback first, last, and always. We know that. But I think they're going to work with him as well on being on the field and showing that there is value in that. Whether we're showing the old Wildcat stuff, whether we're showing, as you said, him in a slot and things that can be done out of it. And you notice they're not shy about letting us media types know about all this. You notice that they've been very open about trying to do a number of different things with him because they want to make sure everybody that they play has got to start dealing with stuff. They want to get it out there right here, right now. I think that he's going to have packages that, depending on how the game flows, that they can trot out there and turn them loose on them. But I also talked to someone today from the Baltimore camp who has said they've never seen Joe Flacco like this ever.
What does like this mean?
Meaning he is embracing this challenge. He is bouncing around, staking his turf. I'm not saying it in a bad way because, we all hear about the quarterback who shunned the rookie and won't speak to him. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about Joe Flacco showing up in shape, wanting to make sure the team knows that he's still the quarterback, and eager to embrace this thing and get his team back into the playoffs. So to me, Baltimore's kind of got the best of all worlds right now. And a lot of it just be dictated on how the season unfolds.
Well, the best of
we all know they've got to get back to the playoffs. Otherwise, we probably got a sweeping mandate there.
I don't know. You know what? I don't. I know what the owner feels about his coach.
Yeah.
And the coach, would be on the street for the proverbial Rob Ryan 5 minutes, Charles.
For most people.
For John Harbaugh, pretty much. So. I don't know. I mean, but let me just take this other piece first, and then we'll take a quick break and come back. And there's breaking news out of Cleveland, interestingly enough, that I love it. All these training camps are up and running. That even, yes, best of both worlds, that Flacco is engaged and he's in shape and he's in charge and he's winging the ball all over the place. And Lamar Jackson is dynamic and he is a game-changing talent. That at some point, though, you're not going to put this game-changing talent out there over the middle to get blown up if he's the future at the quarterback position. And also, if you do take Flacco off the field for a couple of plays, to have Lamar Jackson run the offense, and you're getting plus 30, plus 40 yards out of some of these plays. I mean, at some point, you can't just keep splitting the baby here, Charles, right?
No. The rubber will meet the road depending on it. As I said before, Rich, this season will dictate things for them. Because you're right. Look, John Harbaugh's in a different spot than most head coaches would be because of the owner. Remember, the new GM was the assistant GM for all those years under Ozzie. So it's not like it's a brand new, I've got to have my own people type of a new GM. So that plays well for them. But it's been 4 out of 5 years. I mean, playoffs a big deal. Where do you go with this? And especially in a division where Pittsburgh is the clear head and shoulders favorite above, and everyone else is just chasing right now. Baltimore is in a chase position, and that's very unusual for them. Cincinnati may very well be as good as Baltimore this year, which is a very strange thing to say. One of them has got to fight it out to try and slug it out and see if they can be the second team behind Pittsburgh as we sit here right now.
I don't know if you're aware of the news that's going on in Cleveland, but the news is this. The general manager, John Dorsey, saying that they are talking about bringing in Dez Bryant. We all know that Josh Gordon is out for potentially the foreseeable future. And if he comes back, then they will have, I mean, let's put it this way. If Josh Gordon is coming back and healthy and ready to go with Jarvis Landry and David Njoku and Dez Bryant, oh my gosh. They're going to, I mean, that might be one of the most physical offenses. You could, and Nick Chubb coming downhill to try and hit you with Carlos Hyde. I mean, they're going to keep hitting you in the mouth, the Cleveland Browns.
And can they get Corey Coleman up to speed for some flash and dash outside?
Right.
And remember, they drafted Antonio Callaway out of Florida, who was a first-round talent that Cleveland drafted that a lot of people had taken off of their board because of off-the-field issues at the University of Florida. There's no denying his athletic prowess at all. So you're talking about a Cleveland Browns team. We talked about it, I think, day 3, Rich, at the draft, about the Cleveland Browns wide receiver room.
Mm-hmm.
And a team that's, won one game in the last 2 years. Josh Gordon appears to be coming back. I did raise an eyebrow, like, will he be back? I mean, I'd be very leery about putting all my eggs in that basket. And, I'm hoping Josh does make it back and makes it to camp and the whole thing. But I said that back then. And you're going to add a Dez Bryant. And then I was very against them drafting Antonio Callaway. I'm one of those people, he would not have been on my board. But athletically, I get why. I just think I just thought you got Josh already, you got Corey Coleman already, Jarvis Landry's there. I didn't know that you needed to add that to your room, but he may very well end up being a player for them. So they've got a lot of things that they're going to have to work through, not the least to mention. We know Tyrod Taylor is there, and for Hugh Jackson, that's wonderful because he's got to win games early. But John Dorsey is a brand new GM who went out on the proverbial limb and took Baker Mayfield number 1 overall.
That's right. I mean, we had Mary Kay Cabot on the other day, and she said that, based on her reporting, that the Browns want Tyrod Taylor to win this job and not win the job. No, that he's going to get the job, and that essentially that Baker's not going to get the reps to try and be able to earn it because they want to win now, that they've lost enough games. They owe it to the veterans in the room. And I was saying to myself, how in the world does something like that happen? With all due respect to Tyrod Taylor, who I have nothing but the highest regard, and this would be an incredible opportunity for him if he does get the starting job, like everybody says, out of Cleveland. He's going to get and not even have to win it. But when you take a kid number one overall, and he's got that braggadociousness that you need and has the ability that we've seen. And we've seen what Deshaun Watson's done and Carson Wentz has done, and just with a little bit of sea legs under him, Jared Goff has done. How do you not give Baker Mayfield a shot here, Charles?
I'm a big proponent of, if you're going to draft a quarterback that high, I'm going to do whatever I can to get him ready to play early. I'm going to make him tell me he can't make it early. I've been like that for years now, and we can go chapter and verse on the number of guys who have started as rookies, and they haven't all been bad experiences. I mean, because that's, Rich, that's the first thing everybody hits you with. Well, if you start a rookie quarterback, oh, my God, remember what happened to Troy Aikman his first year at Dallas? Yeah, I know. Matt Ryan went to the playoffs his first year. So did Andy Dalton. So did Joe Flacco. Right? We can just go right on down the line. you can make this thing work if you want to invest in it. It's like your Jets. Once that Darnold gets signed, the idea that anyone other than Darnold takes a snap first game is folly to me. That's just the way I look at it.
I agree, Charles.
I would find a way to get them on the field and go ahead and play. I get what Cleveland's saying. Want to take care of the event, want to do this, want to do that. I'm a big Tyrod Taylor fan, but you made the move to draft Baker Mayfield #1 overall. Why wouldn't you give him every chance?
But I don't understand, too, is that, okay, let's take our lumps, Philadelphia 76ers process style, right? Let's take our lumps, and then when it's time to hit the win it now button, and you want to get, obviously, a veteran out there and hit the win it now button, but you also don't want to give, 6-10, 8-8, and then suddenly, okay, we've got that going on. Now let's try and break Baker Mayfield in. At some point, you've got to play this guy, and you got to get the rust out of the way, and you got to take the rookie lumps out of the way, or you can catch fire like Deshaun Watson and maybe win the damn division.
Remember Deshaun Watson last year didn't win the job right out of the gate?
Yeah, I couldn't beat out Tom Savage, supposedly, until quarter number 2.
Right. So I would go back and, I love Bill O'Brien. I'd be like, so B.O.B., what did you gain out of that? I mean, what would we get here?
I guess
quarter and a half?
The apple.
what are we doing?
That's an apple to the orange of, obviously, Tyrod Taylor has more
yes.
Going for him than Savage did.
I'm big on Tyrod.
Me too.
I really, truly am. But at the same time, you drafted that kid #1 overall, and very few people thought that was going to actually happen.
Do you think Josh Allen starts in? Do you think Josh Allen starts in Buffalo?
I actually don't.
Okay.
I think it'll be very difficult for him to beat out A.J. McCarron. I think McCarron is kind of underrated in being that veteran guy. Plus, you've probably spent some time with him, haven't you, Rich? I think they're going to have a very hard time getting A.J. McCarron out of the lineup.
Huh.
I really do. Because I think that he has been working for this, want Jones in for this, and wanting to be that guy. Now, they put themselves in a spot where you got to figure it out with Josh Allen. But I think A.J. McCarron's going to make it very, very difficult.
I don't know. I know these bridge quarterbacks are there just in case these rookies aren't ready to go, and it gives you some breathing room. But you draft somebody this high, they got to start at some point. You might as well just
figure it out. Yeah, I don't disagree with you. They've got to figure that part out. All I'm saying is they made that move with McCarron, who to me was a better signing than, let's say, the Bears with Mike Glennon the year before. And then the Bears made the move and moved up and drafted Mitchell Trubisky. And I said he should have started from day one. To me, they just wasted time on that one too. In this case, I think McCarron's a better football player. And so I think it's going to be difficult unless they just say, something, we're going with the rookie. Just, whatever. We're just going with him.
Let's go full circle with you to wrap up this conversation and then weave some college football in and ask the question that the rest of my Rich Eisen show compadres want asked into this microphone. Okay. Which Harbaugh needs to win more this year? John or Jim? Charles?
On the surface, I would say John. But I think that Jim needs it more for perception than anything else. I don't think he's in any trouble at Michigan by any stretch of the imagination. I don't think that at all. I think the administration's all in with him, all of that. But I did notice a shift, which I thought was a very positive shift this offseason. It was very quiet in Ann Arbor. And I thought that was good for him. Just go coach the team, get them ready to go play. The gimmicks and everything else that have worked and given him attention, he doesn't need to do those anymore. People know he's there. Go get your players and go do your thing. And I think it's also good for him that they're actually picked lower than what most people have picked them in recent years. They picked Michigan State ahead of them, Penn State ahead of them, Ohio State ahead of them. I think that's good for him. But I do think that he needs it for the perception that this hire, which has been a phenomenal hire for Michigan in a lot of ways, got to find a way to pay it off with some big wins.
Charles, let's chat again real soon. This is fun.
I look forward to it. You know anytime. But tell all the fellas hello for me.
Go ahead,
and
Ron.
Hope I get out there and see
Charles,
you.
how you doing?
All right, buddy. We'll see you
guys.
soon.
You got it.
All right, be good, okay?
You too, brother.
It's Charles Davis.
Bye.
The NFL Network and Fox Sports, who's going to be in the booth again.
The Rich Eisen Show, weekdays at noon Eastern on Audience.